All right, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, also known as EDS. This is a big one because basically this has to do with all the connective tissues in your body. So that's basically everything. So yeah. So with all these conditions that I have, which is kind of another reason why we suspect that I might have EDS. So because it affects your connective tissues, so one of those being your veins, arteries, all that, it kind of makes those extra flexible and more prone to compression. So that is why I'm trying to be evaluated for it. This has been my struggle with it. So in Tennessee, there is only like one main genetics clinic, I guess, and that is Vanderbilt. There are some other EDS clinics, but they mainly test the genetics in children, not in adults. So Vanderbilt's pretty much my only option, which isn't great because of that, there are so many people trying to get into Vanderbilt, and that creates a very long wait list. So I was put on the wait list, I thought. Here's my issue with it. So I got the referral sent over. I was told that the wait list, the call wait list, was about a year to a year and a half. I was like, okay, we're gonna be waiting a while. So I called in, every month or two to see, kind of how I was on the waiting list. And they were like, oh yeah, you're on it. You're still on the call wait list. We'll call you, once we can get you scheduled. Well, I noticed about 6 months later, I got a notification in the Vanderbilt's portal saying that I was put on the wait list. I was like, wait a second, I thought I was already on the wait list. So I called them. I was like, yo, so like, what's going on? And they're like, oh, so we have like a wait list for the call wait list. So basically, you have to wait for a physician to read over your file to see if you can be put on the call wait list, even though I was told I was already on the call wait list. I don't know how that makes sense. It's whatever. So anyway, now I'm officially on the wait list for a year to a year and a half after waiting 6 months. So that's kind of where we're at with that. But anyway, so let's kind of go over EDS itself. I could definitely have it a lot worse if I do have EDS. When it comes to EDS, some of the main things that you'll notice in people with EDS is a lot of hypermobility. Some people have stretchier skin, so I don't really think I have stretchy skin really. People with EDS have it a lot worse. If you have really bad EDS, or like the hypermobile EDS, your skin can be very, very, very stretchy, very. Anyway, so I don't think I have that part of the hypermobility, and not everyone does. You could have hypermobile EDS and not have the skin stretchiness. And that's kind of where, again, those criterias are kind of, I don't know the words for it, but basically some doctors will see that as, oh, well, you can't have EDS because you don't have stretchy skin, or you're not hypermobile in all of your joints. So for me, I don't really have, I feel like, super visible hypermobility, but I have what's called subluxations, which are basically partial dislocations. And some people with really bad EDS will have complete dislocations very often. So thankfully for me, mine are just partial dislocations, so not as bad. But anyway, so kind of an example of that is my ribs will kind of slide out of where they're supposed to be. I don't know the exact whatever, but basically if they're connected to your sternum, then they might pop up slightly or pop down. I've been told that I was kind of like a stegosaurus, so I've kind of gotten used to the pain. Honestly, this has been going on for years, but I've kind of gotten a few records over the years with how many ribs I've had out at one time. So like, you know, it started out with like 7 or 8, and then it, you know, went up to about 12. And then maybe last year it was, you know, up to about, I think 16. Yeah, and then my new record as of like a couple months ago, 18 ribs. For the record, the human body only has 24. So yeah, that's like, you know, 75% of my ribs. I have very, very special skills, just kind of all in the wrong way. So yeah. Anyway, so that's my issue with the ribs. So that's kind of where some of my hypermobility is. I guess definitely my main one. The other thing is my wrists. With hypermobile people with EDS, like usually like their pinky will go like past 90 degrees, which I don't think mine is quite there yet. Maybe it's about 90 degrees. I don't know. Anyway, so they can like put their pinky back like way far, you know. And then there's another one where like your thumb like would touch your forearm. Mine definitely isn't that hypermobile, thankfully, because yeah. But when it comes to my wrists, I have to be careful with doing like push-ups or anything where I'm putting too much weight on my wrist, because if I do, then my wrist will, you know, I'll get wrist subluxations. So those are really painful because it's like, it almost feels like your wrist is sprained or broken. Like if I get the like wrist subluxation, so like I'll just like, if I try and bend my wrist, I can only go up or down a certain amount. And it's very painful. But that's what a chiropractor is for, am I right? But I've also heard you have to be careful with what chiropractors you go to, because not all chiropractors are good. So thankfully I have a very great chiropractor, and yeah, definitely very thankful, because again, there are not great ones out there, and you just have to be very careful, because if they force things too much, especially if you're hypermobile, it can cause more damage than good. So you have to be careful. But anyway, so those are two of my main ones, I guess. And then there's my neck, I guess. I've had neck pain quite a bit. I think one thing is like sometimes with hypermobile people, you can like look up like way too far. I don't know how far exactly I can look up. You know, let's for the content, you know, we'll see. So like, that's about as far as I can go. I think I've definitely been told that my neck, like how far my neck goes back is definitely a little bit too much. So yeah, again, it could be worse. But yeah, so that's that. When it comes to my knees, found out that I just recently had a knee subluxation. So my kneecap, actually both my kneecaps, I think sit up too far, and then they like go more outward, so they're not really sitting like perfectly in that socket or whatever. So yeah, that's cool. Anyway, and then there's my wrists that are not my wrists, my ankles that are also a bit hypermobile. Definitely had a couple ankle sprains in my time. But yeah, there's a lot of different things. Hypermobility can look a lot different in certain people. So when it comes to stretching, there are certain stretches where like normal people would, you know, could only go a certain, you know, distance with that stretch. I don't know how to word it. Anyway, hopefully you all know what I mean. But for me, I can go like further with some stretches. And I remember like physical therapy one time, I was doing the like figure 4 stretch, whatever. So you're like on your back, you know, do figure 4 with your legs, whatever. And I like was going like really far into that stretch. And I just remember my physical therapist like, wow, you can go really far into that. Like, you're really flexible. And like, it's not like I've trained my flexibility, it just, I guess, comes naturally because of the hypermobility. So, anyway, now that I'm done ranting about all that. So again, hypermobility can look a lot different, whether it's dislocations, subluxations, just really far stretching, stretchy skin. There's a lot of different things. And there's definitely a lot more that goes into EDS. Those are just kind of the main things, I guess. But it can affect just every part of your body. Again, with me, it could be these vein compressions that I have. So there's just a lot that goes into it. Again, I don't know if I actually do have EDS, but I am trying to be evaluated for it. So yeah, there is no cure for EDS, but just getting a diagnosis for it would be huge, because it could just help along the line for certain things, I guess. But yeah, so that's EDS, I guess. Again, there's a lot more to it. Feel free to do your own research on it. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Again, if you have EDS, comment down below, let me know your experience with it. Would love to get to know you. If you like the video, drop a like maybe. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I will see you all in the next video, whatever it may be. And yeah, bye.